From EPAWA Weather Consulting, headquartered in Worth Whitehall, Pennsylvania, this is Weather Weeklies, an informative video of the ins and outs of weather that affect you most in the EPAWA coverage area. The thoughts and opinions expressed in this video are those of the forecaster alone and may not reflect those of the staff of EPAWA Weather Consulting LLC as a whole, nor its constituents. Now, without further ado, here is meteorologist Bobby Martrich with Weather Weeklies.
Good Sunday morning to you. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martrich, and this is likely the final Weather Weeklies video of this 2022-2023 season, which has not been too plentiful in the snowfall department, but I don't really see after this early week storm that we're going to be dealing with, which might be our final gasp. I don't really see too much beyond that other than something very arbitrarily, maybe in the northern higher elevations gets a quick dusting here or there. But don't see any organized storms going forward, so this is likely the last one of the season we're going to do. And this is going to be done a little bit differently. Normally I have it through a PowerPoint presentation I had prepared the night before. This is going to go through all the different models for the storms, and in order to do that is going to be structured almost like the daily forecast videos that I do Monday through Saturday each week. So we're going to go through that kind of, so you can look at this like a Weather Weeklies video that plays like a daily forecast video, or a daily forecast video that is extra on Sunday morning. So I want to get into first, start off with, this again, it could be a different format here. So I'm going to start off with average snowfall for the month of March and April. You can see we still have what our averages are across the region. A lot of these are not going to be met except when you get in the far northern areas. I think you will, especially up here when you get to Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, maybe even Newark. Allentown, probably not. Philadelphia, definitely not. And as you get further south, Harrisburg, Atlantic City are not going to reach those numbers for March either. So there, I think for all intents and purposes, winter is over for you. This is not going to be a South New Jersey, South Central PA, Delaware, Southern New Jersey event. Okay, it's going to be everywhere else north of there. And the question is going to be, how far southwest can we get this snow to accumulate, and does it get all the way south to like places like North Central PA, to the Lehigh Valley, to Central New Jersey? And we're going to discuss that here in the video today. And the final graphic I have here is more Weather Weekly centric, is our year-to-date snowfall. Okay, and this is what we have year-to-date, and obviously these are pitiful amounts if you're a snow lover. This is not what you wanted to see this winter, but and this is likely going to end this way, except again for Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, you're going to add to this. I don't think it's going to be enough there to get to what normal snowfall is going to be in an average year for you. That would be incredible if you did. I don't think you're getting that much, but you will get some out of this. And areas, around Newark might add to it a little bit. Maybe Allentown adds to this a little bit. Maybe. We'll see. But some of these other areas that are all listed on here won't see anything at all, and this is likely where you're going to finish for the year or pretty close to it, except for something, again, very arbitrary. It's not worth me keeping the Weather Weeklies going to chase ghosts down the line here, because once you get into, April, the April snowfall, as you can see, is less than an inch on average at every single location, and this is more of a rarity than something that happens every year, as you all well know. So I want to start off with the temperature anomalies here. This is going forward from this point for the next 2 weeks. Behind our system here on Monday, we turn colder for several days here. There will be a transient milder period, slightly above average to above, and that's going to be in the late week period, as we're going to surge back into the 50s and maybe even touch 60 one of those days here, which will probably be either Friday or Saturday. And then behind that cold front, that's all it is a cold front. Once that moves through with rain showers, you're going to be back in the tank again as far as colder temperatures, and that's going to last for a while. I think you're going to remain generally below average for a long period of time. This runs out of range here the evening of the 26th, so to go beyond that, we'll take a look at the Weather Weeklies, the Euro Weeklies, not the Weather Weeklies, the Euro Weeklies, and go beyond that point. You can see the colder than average temperatures that week will, as we get into April, come down a little bit. The first week of April is slightly below average, and then we're kind of like near to slightly below after that point. Not really cold, but you have to remember in April that the average highs are now getting into the 60s, so slightly colder than average in April is still well into the 50s, and it's going to feel, to the common observer, you won't feel like, it's not going to feel like winter anymore, okay? So once you get in April, I think we're going to get a lot better. Again, you might be technically near to slightly below average But, with average highs where they are at the time, it's not going to feel that bad, okay? So we're going to keep coming out of this, and there's really no reason to keep this going on a week-to-week basis. But I do want to examine this next storm coming in, which is going to come in as early as Sunday night. We are going to have a snow map out for this today after all the 12Z guidance runs, and we might even update again Monday, because the bulk of this is actually going to be Monday night and into Tuesday. Even though they have some stuff coming in overnight. The stuff coming overnight is insignificant and very light. As you can see here, this is in the interior areas, mainly north of I-78. You'll have maybe near I-78 a rain-snow mix initially, but areas north there will get some very light snow showers overnight. And then as you get into the day on Monday, you see the I-78 corridor and point southeast are all rain, but it remains just these light intermittent snow showers across northern areas here on Monday. Here's our coastal system. It's going to come up the coast, and we know what it's going to do pretty much. It's going to do one of these numbers here, come up near the Cape and do a retrograde loop and stall deal, and then head out in this direction. So that is what has been pretty much modeled for the last couple of days. There has been some models that we're trying to occlude this a little faster and bring it more snow to more of our area. Nothing is doing that, but the European model is the most aggressive, along with the 3-kilometer NAM, at getting the snow farther southwest in our region than some of the other models, and there's a reason for that. It has nothing to do with the track in this case. It has to deal with an inverted trough, okay? So as we get into Monday evening and overnight, you see the snow in northeast PA picks up, and then it shows it expanding into southwestern areas. And the reason it's doing that, and that includes central New Jersey, Lehigh Valley, north central Pennsylvania, not just northeast PA and northern New Jersey, which is a slam dunk for this, and that's why this winter storm watch is up for there. But because as this system occludes, it comes up here and does this, and occludes this way. You have, so your low pressure is right there. You have a cold conveyor belt that comes around this like this across eastern New England and gets them some heavy snow. There's also the presence of an inverted trough that's set up here, and that inverted trough is responsible for that snow coming farther southwest. It's shown on the 3-kilometer NAM, and it's shown on the European model. To some extent, the Canadian is doing it as well, but not quite as far south with it. But the other models are not doing that. So this is something, this feature right here, this inverted trough is what we have to pay attention to today, because that's what's going to determine how far southwest this precipitation will get today on Monday night and Tuesday morning, most notably. So this is looking at Tuesday morning, and see that inverted trough sitting right in those areas I mentioned, and then this kind of fizzles and goes away as this thing heads east after that point. So that's the European model. The 3-kilometer NAM this morning, here's the progression of the snowfall, and you have the very light snow showers overnight. Again, this isn't going to amount to much, maybe coating to 1 inch type stuff. If this was the only part of this storm, there would not be a map at all. Okay, so that's how light this is. And this goes into Monday morning, but you can see areas along I-78 are primarily, and point southeast are primarily very light rain showers, very insignificant light rain showers. Same thing here over northeast PA, very light snow showers still continuing. The valleys will turn over to rain during the day, but then we go back over to snow overnight in those, this is the evening, and you still see it's rain here in most of New Jersey, except for very far northern areas and higher elevations of Sussex and Sussex County, most likely. And then when you get into northeast PA, this changes all over to snow, and this is going to pick up in intensity, and then it starts to pivot. You get that inverted trough going overnight, and this will sit and spin, and this is bringing it pretty far southwest compared to some of the other models that keep it out of places like north central PA, east of Williamsport. Down through the Lehigh Valley in central New Jersey. In this case, this would be a little bit more expansive of a snow map that we would have to draw. We'll have to watch this, because this inverted trough is going to be the key to how far southwest the snow gets. I think up here in northeast corner of Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, it is a slam dunk. There's no issues there, okay? Everything's showing that no matter what you look at, okay? It's just a matter of how far southwest this gets to this point. The Canadian models showing this inverted trough as well. It's sitting right here, a little bit further, situated a little bit further to the north, but so it doesn't get quite as far south as some of the other, as the European model and the 3-kilometer NAM does, but it does have this feature. So again, this is something to watch. Position of this inverted trough is going to be key to how far southwest this gets as far as accumulating snowfall. And GFS has it, but it's over well up to the north and out of our area. Now the GFS is doing something goofy this morning, if you notice. You got one low here, and you got another one sitting out here that are doing like a little Fujiwara thing here as I move this forward here. They kind of spin around each other. This is a very goofy-looking evolution. This is probably not correct. I can tell you right now. So whatever the GFS is showing here this morning is probably incorrect just because it's doing this. And it's a very goofy evolution. Nothing else is doing that. I moved it back to the Canadian model. It's just one solid storm coming up, retrograde loop, and then head east. The European model is doing the same thing. Retrogrades towards the Cape, loops, heads east. Okay, so everything else is doing that, not what the GFS is showing. So we're kind of discounting this double barrel low feature here, and because this is doing this double barrel low, it has this inverted trough much farther to the north. So for now, the GFS is not being considered in our forecast, but we're not necessarily going for the most aggressive either. This is just something we have to look for today and see how this trends. So because the European model is the most aggressive, this is where the extent of snow is, okay, and it goes, some of this falls overnight, but the extent of this axis of snow goes all the way down to here, which would be a heck of a change from what anything is showing right now. If this is more aggressive, and then you'd have some 12-plus amounts up here in Northeast PA, and same thing up here in at least Northwest New Jersey. But do you see how far south the 6-inch line gets? The 6-inch line is right here where this starts. This is the 6-inch line. So that's pretty far south, okay? And, areas further south of that are obviously less than that, a couple inches, but it's still something with this system Monday night into Tuesday, or Monday night into Wednesday morning, okay? Taking a look at the GFS, much further north, but it still bullseyes those areas that we expect to be a slam dunk, okay? It just doesn't have the inverted trough, so areas further south, central New Jersey, Lehigh Valley, don't get much out of this. And the same thing here on the Canadian model, although it is, again, the inverted trough is up over the lower Hudson Valley into up to the Finger Lakes up in this region. So it does come a little bit further south than the GFS does, but it's not as aggressive as the European model in the 3-kilometer NAM. So these are things we're going to be watching today. And again, we're going to have a map out at 5 o'clock today, traditional time, because, and I know this, people are saying, well, we should have had a map out yesterday. No, because the bulk of the system is Monday night into Tuesday, not this BS that's coming in overnight. So again, I wouldn't even be issuing a map at all for if it was just the stuff coming in overnight and there was nothing after that, because it wouldn't be enough to really make a map. It wouldn't be worth my time. So this is concentrating on the Monday night into Tuesday event, and we'll have a map out at 5 o'clock on Sunday today, and then we'll have another update as needed on Monday for this Monday night into Tuesday deal. Okay, so that's what one we're focusing on, and the concentration, our biggest challenge is going to be the southwestern fringe of this. After this storm exits, there will be some pretty good wind coming in here on Tuesday and Wednesday, generally 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts during the day on Tuesday, and then you have some peak gusts that are up to 45 up here in the higher elevations. And then we get in the overnight, it kind of relaxes a little bit, 15 to 25, gusting 30 to 35, but we pick up right here on Wednesday and get right back into the 30 to 40 mile per hour range again. Peak gust 45 in the Poconos. And then it finally diminishes as far as the wind as we get into past sunset on Wednesday. So it's going to be a long period of time. It's generally a 36-hour window there where it picks up on Tuesday morning, lasts the entire day. Still breezy overnight, and then windy again on Wednesday. A couple of windy days in the wake of this. I know you're sick of the wind. This is what happens when you have cold air advection this time of year with the temperatures that far below average. You have to have something pull that in, and in this case, it's wind. So that's what we're looking at for this system. We're going to have a map out at 5 o'clock today, and this is the last Weather Weeklies video that we plan to do this year, unless something pops up, but I doubt it. Again, the pattern going forward is not really going to be conducive for that. Once we get past clocks change like we did last night, and of course the equinox, which comes on the 20th, really the chances are a lot more rare than common. So not impossible, but I don't think it's enough to keep the Weather Weeklies videos going for additional weeks at this point. So we will do this again next year starting in November. Take care.